How's it going, guys? Today I'm going to make a map from start to finish utilizing all the information we've had so far and create an entire map from scratch. So the first thing I'm going to do, multiplayer map, create a completely new map. I'm going to keep it on the small side as to not make this too long. I'm going to use the desert theme just for fun. We're going to keep this as, let's say 75 on 75. We'll keep it rather small. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is player locations, delete these player locations, not interested. The next thing I'm going to do is I need to know where the center of the map is. So the way I do this is I just take this, Control C, copy this, go to edit and do paste centered right there. So now I know where the center of the map is and I could build around that. Now I didn't choose the starting height. I'm probably going to want to do that. So I go to edit and I go to, where is height? Terrain, map tools, change map height. It's currently 0. Let's let me just check what height it is. I see in the bottom left, the height is 0. So I'm going to go to map tools, change map height and just change this to 4. Just so that I have a nice starting height to begin with. So my basic idea is a very simple map. From left to right, we're going to have player 1 starting on the left-hand side, player 2 starting on the right-hand side. And we're going to try and make this map as interesting as possible. Now, the first thing I usually do is I start with the cliffs. So here's what I'm going to do for starters. I'm going to want an ore pit in each corner. So I'm just lowering the ground here in the corner all the way down. And lowering the ground to a lower height here. Just like that. You'll see in a second exactly what I plan to do here. So I'm going to have an ore pit over here on this side. And I'm also going to have an ore pit on the corner over here. So again, I'm going to lower the map here and just flatten out the ground so that everything is even height. Right at the edge of the map, it doesn't matter. Remember, all we care about is the blue line. Whatever's in the blue line is visible and active. Anything else is usually irrelevant. All right, so we're going to go now into cliffs. And I'm going to start with number 15 here. I'm going to have a ramp going down into the ore pit in this direction like this. Gonna have it a wide ramp, why not? And the same thing on the other side, of course. So we're gonna have a ramp going down into the ore pit. Now I'm not gonna try to be super precise here. I do want to get through this tutorial as fast as possible and just show you guys the general idea of making a map from start to finish. I go to 10 here for the cliffs, and now we need to start making cliffs. So I'm just gonna build these cliffs around like this. Maybe put a few of these, go down again like this all the way until I am outside the blue line fully like that. And of course on the other side as well, so maybe something like this. Make it a little bit interesting, go in and out a little bit. Go over here and just finish off this cliff all the way to the edge of the map. Great. Now with cliffs, we always have to remember we gotta fill in the corners. So any spot that doesn't have the pink line completely connected, we're just gonna connect it with these little pieces over here. And on this side, I believe we need these pieces. I'm gonna hit the D key to flatten out the ground so that it's easier for me to reach. Great. Now we could flatten out the ground up here. And this is going to create our ramp as well. Make sure everything is connected nicely. There we go. Now we've got a bit of a pit here, which is what I wanted to achieve. Next, we're going to do the same thing over here. But here we're going to have to do something a little bit different. Just because building... So my player is going to start here and he's going to want to build up into this pit. So building up into a pit is usually a little bit more difficult. What I want to have is usually something like this going in as well, so that it's easier to build into this pit. So I'm just gonna put some pieces here, and now we're gonna have on the other side as well an option to build in. So I'm just gonna put this 5-piece over here like this, and hopefully that will make it a little bit easier for this player to build into this this pit over here. And now we're going to close it off and finish right off the edge of the map. There we go. And now we just need to complete this side as well. So we could hit the D key again so that we could get a better idea of what we're doing here. Often it's easier to go top to bottom, so I'm just going to start from the top here, go into the blue line before I feel it necessary to make these cliffs interesting. Anything outside of the blue line isn't visible anyway. And maybe something like this. And over here. Great. Now we just need to fill in these little corners over here. There we go. And in the bottom as well, we've got a few. So over here, over here, over here, and over here. Great. Now we could flatten out the ground. So I'm just going to grab the flatten out tool. Make sure the ramp is nice and working. So here we have a bit of a problematic ramp. Sometimes when you play with it, it does. There we go. Straighten out. And we could just fill in the rest of this area over here. So we're going to come back to these ore pits later. Let's continue on the map. Now, what I'm thinking is perhaps a bit of water in the center. So let's just grab the water here. Turn on auto shore. Auto shore is off at the moment. I'm just going to turn it on. Some people prefer to not have auto shore on at the moment, like at the start, because you see you get all these janky water bits. But I'm just going to create a nice little lake here in the center. Like that. We're going to fix this up and touch it up later. Next, I'm going to want rivers coming out of this. So usually rivers, what I do is I make them one square so that I could make pebbles coming across. So try to keep it going one way and then the other and then back this way, and then we're gonna go back this way and then this way like this, and maybe we'll have it turn into a lake here at the edge, right at the edge like that. There we go. Now over here, I'm trying to remember if in desert there are waterfalls. Let's have a look here real quick. Yes, there are waterfalls. So I'm just going to have a waterfall here. So there's the edge part here, you could see. We're going to have waterfall going down into the water here. And then there's a centerpiece. And then we'll have the other piece. I'm going to disable auto shore. It's actually, I need to make a bit more rivers before I do that. Now this cliff is going to need to be completed, but we are going to need ramps up and down off of it. So back to number 25 to the ramps here, and maybe something like this over here, and maybe something like this over here. Alright, so now we just need to complete the cliffs. So we're going to go back to our cliff section here and try to connect these guys to each other. We'll go in like this, in like this. No, all right, we'll spin around here. So we'll go up, and that is cutting it close. So we'll do a 4 here, and then a corner piece right over here. This guy also goes to the end, of course. Just like that, and as soon as it's off the map, I care a lot less. Alright, now we just need to connect this cliff to this cliff, so I'm going to do it like this. There we go, all connected, all good. Oh, these water pieces. Alright, I really should turn off auto shore when I'm not dealing with water. Gonna get rid of all these extra water pieces that are appearing here that I did not ask for. Alright, options. Disable auto shore. Great. Now we're just going to fill in the missing pieces here. We do need a few fillers here, so the corner pieces right over here and here like that, and over here as well. here we have quite a few missing. So over here, here, and that's it. Great. We're gonna flatten out the ground up here, just like that here. So this is what AutoShore does. This place, we'll show you how to fix that in a second. Fill in the ramp here, and all these white squares. That's caused by AutoShore. We don't like AutoShore. All right, just like that. There we go. All right, now we're gonna keep the river running. You know, let's just fix these pieces real quick. So I'm gonna select a bigger brush size and just fill in these white squares. Try not to erase any cliff pieces as we do that. Now back to the water over here. Now we're gonna put AutoShore back on, and there we go. Now this guy I do want turning into a one-piece river so I could use the pebbles. So just like that, and over here as well. There we go. We'll have the river running across here. Try to keep it as neat as possible. And all the way over here. And here maybe we'll make it a bit of a lake just so that it looks decent enough. Alright. Now, there are, of course, janky shorelines that we might have to fix later. We'll get into that later. So we got a waterfall, we got a cliff, we got a lake in the bottom left here, we got a lake in the center as well. And we're starting to get a shape of a map here. I like what I'm seeing, but let's see if we can't make it a little bit more interesting with a few more cliffs here. So maybe we'll have a bridge going across the water. Yeah, let's make it a weird map. Why not? So I'm gonna go here to the bridges. Where are the bridge pieces? 1 second, guys. I'll locate them. It's a lot of looking and finding sometimes. Does this? Huh. I'm sure Desert has high bridges, right? It's gotta have bridge pieces. Huh. Alright, maybe it doesn't. Alright, let's go to the pebbles in the meantime. So we got the pebbles across here. We're just gonna place them here so that players can actually cross the water and engage each other. So I usually don't want them one thickness. I usually make them a little bit thicker. Up here as well we'll have a crossing. Over here, and maybe going the other way over here as well. And over here. There we go. Alright. So across the water here in the center, I'm gonna make a bridge going across. So that's in special and overlay. Bridges. Small bridge at the ground. So I'm gonna start it over here and go all the way across to here. I'm not sure I like that. Maybe start it over here and go across to here. Yeah, that looks a little bit better. Yeah, it's a funny looking bridge, very long, but it works. I'll go into buildings real quick, and just make a bridge repair hut already while I'm at it, right next to the bridge like that. Great. All right, beginnings of a decent map for sure. Now I'm gonna want some tech on a cliff. I'm thinking, all right, so over here, so we're gonna go back to the ramps like this, and just make a ramp going up in this direction like this. That should be fine. And a map coming up the same way, so like this and like this. Obviously these guys, you gotta attach their cliff pieces as well, just like that. Great, let's go into the cliffs here and just complete these guys. So I'm gonna go in like that, and once we cross the blue line again, I don't really care. Just like that, and on the other side as well, we'll go like this and then upwards, and we cross the blue line. So at this point I don't really care how it looks. Great, we'll fill in the edges. So we'll put this over here like this, and on the other side as well. Fill in the edges just like that, and take out the land. Yeah, that's because I got one tiny spot escaping there. There we go. So just like this, fill this in. There we go. And now we got to do the same thing over here. So we're going to take this cliff piece like this cliff piece here, going down, go down like this, maybe one piece this direction, over here. There we go, all the way to the edge of the map, of course. Once we cross the blue line, we do not care. And on the other side as well. So maybe we'll make this one a little bit more interesting. Let's go down in this direction. Take this piece over here. Take this piece. Again, building cliffs does take time to truly learn and get faster at. I'm sure there are people that are faster than me, but it has taken me a while to reach this level where I'm building cliffs at this speed. Great, now we just need to fill in the missing spots. So I hit D again to flatten out the ground. And on this side as well. There we go. And now we grab this tool here. What's it called? It's called Flatten Ground. All right. We're going to flatten out the ground here, and perfect. There we go. So we got this guy has a little thing. This guy has a little thing. Perfect. Just what we wanted. So I was thinking something about the lines of, this is going to be a 1v1 map, obviously, and I was thinking something along the lines of player 1 over here and player 2 over here. Something like that. Alright, so we got this empty spot right over here. I'm going to do one more little pit here. Now, I only want it 4 squares wide, so that I could fit an oil derrick down there. So yeah, that's fine. Like that. And maybe we'll do the same thing on the other side as well. So I'm just gonna lower the ground all the way and then make a bit of a square area down in the bottom. Alright. Looking decent, looking like a good outline of a map so far. Let's talk about ore at this point. Maybe I'll put the tech buildings down already as well. So let's just go to buildings, and if I hit the T key, it's going to find the tech buildings. So maybe, alright, won't go too heavy on the tech. Let's see, we'll put an airport up here like this. I hope that can be captured. It might be too much to the edge of the map. Let's put it right on the edge, as far as we can go. Okay, that's fine. And then we'll put an airport over here as well. This one has much more room than that one. And now we're going to look for, there we go, the oil. I want in the bottom of the pit here like this. Perfect. So we got the text on the map. We got the bridge across. It's looking good. It's looking good. Let's talk about ore for a second. So we're going to have this ore pit we were talking about. There's going to be a lot of ore in here. So if I just go to ore and gems, paint ore. So let's I'm going to pick a big brush size here. Now I'm going to be watching this number at the top left. So that's 3,300 ore. I'm going to put about 35k. There we go. We got 35k in the pit, which means in this pit we need 35,000 as well, which means we need to reach 70,000. All right, we've got 70,000. Now another ore patch I was thinking is in the top here, a bit of gems spread out. So maybe we'll give 10k of gems spread out here. So that brings us to 80, and this will bring us to 90. Just like that. Perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. That's exactly what I wanted. And we'll have the player starting gems over here, so I'm thinking another 10k, so that should bring us to 100k. There we go, and another 10k down here, that should bring us to 110,000. Great. Now the player's starting ore, so they're gonna have a nice ore field, I'm thinking, on both sides of the bases, right? So an ore patch for this guy over here, I'm thinking 15k each, so that should bring us to 125,000. There we go, 125, and then another 15 for this guy over here, so that should bring us to 140,000. There we go, 140, and then another ore expansion for this player over here in the back, another 15k, so that should bring us to 155. There we go, and another expansion for this player, which would bring us to 170,000 dollars on the map. Great. Now I usually like putting about 100k for each player, so I'm gonna make another expansion down here with another 15,000. So that brings us to 185,000. And then another 15,000 for this guy over here, which will bring us to 200,000, exactly the amount I wanted. Alright, so we got the ore patches on the map. Next, we're going to need terrain objects. We need ore mines, of course. So I'm just going to grab some ore mines. I'm going to give them 2 drills in the back of their base. Give them a heavy economy there, and 1 drill on the rest of these ore patches. Alright, did I miss any? No, I don't think I did. Perfect. Alright, so we dealt with the ore, we dealt with the player starting positions, we dealt with the cliffs. It's time to talk about decoration. So the first thing I'm going to do is unflatten the earth a little bit in certain areas, see if I could give it a bit of a more natural feel. I'm not going to go too crazy here or spend too much time on it, but just, you know, not have it straight ramps, because straight ramps definitely don't have a natural feeling to them. We're just going to try and give it a bit of a more hilly environment here, a bit of a more natural feel. Well, didn't go very well. Alright, just like that. Maybe have these guys spreading out a little bit more. This hill here, maybe it goes in like that and out like that a little bit. This ramp here, we could definitely play with a little bit. Just got to make sure the ramps here still stay intact and look decent. Gonna go a little bit with this guy, spread out a little bit, make it look a little bit more natural. This guy, I think I'm gonna have a hard time playing with because the ramps are so close together. Yeah, this guy I'm gonna leave as a regular ramp, just like that. Gotta straighten out with the ramp pieces. Alright, that's already looking better. And, you know, maybe just a little bit of... Oh, that was 1 square I meant to raise. Entire ground, so maybe a little bit here, a little bit here, a little bit here. And we could do the same thing lowering the ground, so maybe lower it a little bit here. A few pits here and there, just to make the terrain look a little bit more natural. Alright, so we could cut these off a little bit, maybe round out some edges, make it look a little better, just like that. And yeah, already looking much better, boys. There we go. We got a bit of a more natural feel to the map at the moment. And the next thing I'm going to do is go to the rocky sands. Now these I usually put around the cliffs, just to give the cliffs a more rocky sensation. So I'm going to go through all the cliffs on the map right now and just have these rocks, the rocky ground, spread out around them a little bit. Just like that. So over here as well, we'll do the bottom first on this and then go to the top. So spread out this rocky ground all around the cliffs just to give it a bit of a more natural feeling. Top of this guy as well. Okay, we'll move on to this guy over here. Up top first. And then we'll do the bottom as well over here. Very nice. We're starting to get this feeling of an actual map here. Again, tiny map and rushed. Just wanted to show you guys the process of making a map from scratch. Let's do these cliffs over here now. Every time I accidentally click on a cliff piece, I just hit Control Z to undo my last move. There we go. So we got this side. Now we're going to do the other side. Now again, I'm not making it a straight line, trying to give it this random feel so that it sort of looks more natural. Nature is random, boys. Nature is random. Boys and girls, I should say. Really, I'm sure there are female map makers out there. Alright. So, we got rocks around the cliffs here. Last cliff piece is this. There we go. And already looking better. I love it. Now, grass. What's going to be the next step? Let's start with the pavement. So pavement, what I like doing is putting next to the text for sort of a interesting feel, and next to the starting positions also. Again, I'm really doing it random and spread out here to make it look sort of natural. We're going to need to flatten out the ground here a little bit more so that this oil is not on a hill. Pavement over here as well. Alright, and the next thing I like doing is taking the rocky sand again and just anywhere where there's ore or gems, I like placing it underneath, because ore and gems already feels rugged, right? I'm just going to hit the shift key here to make this process a little bit faster. And we'll just fill in these ore positions with a bit of a rockier feel. Again, I like it. I feel it makes it look a little bit more natural. I'm sure other decorators will disagree with me completely. There we go, filling in all the ore patches with a bit of rockiness. Give it a bit of a more natural feel. Alright. Very nice. Looking good, looking good. I like the way this map is looking. Now the next thing I'm going to do is just take sand and I'm going to hold the shift key and literally just, you know, randomly go around here. Just so that the map terrain looks a little bit more interesting. So I'm really just going random here. I am rushing this. I'm not going to go into too much detail here. This might be a bit over here. But again, more random terrain. This is, you know, how terrain looks more in real life. Is a lot of randomness to it. If you guys ever looked out, it's messy. Nature is messy. Okay, great. Now we're going to do the same thing with sand, right? Just go around, spread out some sand. Try to give the map a more natural feeling here. All right. Okay. And there, now we got a pretty natural feel to the map at the moment. It's already looking much better. And the next step is going to be trees. So I go to the trees, I go to paint random trees. Do we have any deserty trees? Like maybe something like this. Looks a little bit, the one with the less leaves usually feel a little bit more deserty. Palm trees, that's definitely good. All right, we'll go with this. So trees you're gonna want to put in positions where they're not gonna get in the way. Later on, we'll spread out a few more around the water, maybe a little bit. I am going a little bit heavy on the trees here, I'll admit. Where players do build, you're gonna want them more spread out so that they don't get in the way. But anywhere else, you know, you could spam the trees. Doesn't matter that much. Just spread them out everywhere. Next to the water, I feel like we should have more trees for sure. There we go. Up here we could have some trees. And where the players do build, like I said, you know, have them a little bit more spread out so they don't get in the way. Players usually don't like that. We got some trees spread out. And we're almost done. We're almost done. Now, again, this map could definitely use more decorating. It definitely could have used more effort, you know. We definitely could have gone into more detail. But it's looking decent. Now I'm going to go into the lighting here. Always a very important. With the level, I'm going to put it at 0.02. And the ambient, I'm going to make this darker. So I'm going to go 0.7. I'm going to leave these, you know what, we'll give it a bit of a red tint. So I'm going to just turn off these down to 0.8. Just like that. Great. Now let's go to the buildings here. Go to the lighting. So invisible light posts. I'm just going to spread some light posts on the ore to give it a cool effect here. There we go. Oh, I put 2 here. We'll spread them out. I could just hold shift and drag to copy these guys. There we go. So we got a bit of lighting on the ore patches. I put 2. No, these are small ore patches. I probably just want 1 of these on these ore patches. So we got lighting everywhere. Is there anything else we want to do? I'll tell you what, guys, I'm feeling pretty satisfied for a rushed map. I think this is very good. So now we're going to save it. So save as, I'm just going to put it in my maps in progress folder. Create a new folder here. Call it Desert Crossing. Just for fun. Put it in this folder, go here, save it, .map, of course, never forget that, very important. Put it here, Desert Crossing. Now, it is custom to put a 2 here to show that it's designed for 2 players. Desert Crossing, save it, great. Now let's go to my file explorer here, go to the maps in progress, find Desert Crossing, there we go. I'm first going to open this in Notepad++. Language, i.ini, Control F to search and find basic. So the name Desert Crossing like I like it. Author equals Snark. Just like that. And now we just need a map preview for this bad boy. We'll also get to see what the map looks like. So I'm just going to render an image for this map real quick. And it failed. Not sure why it failed, guys, but my renderer does have issues with certain maps. I will ask another mapper to help me out here, but I'm just gonna put it in the custom folder. You guys know how to render a map. You could go to my rendering a map tutorial. I'm just gonna put it in my folder, launch up the client here, and we'll get it rolling. All in all, a decent map. Again, you could see how I gave the map a bit of a natural feel. It is a bit rushed. It's not perfect. It's far from perfect, but it definitely looks decent. If I go into Skirmish, go into Standard, search for Desert Crossing, there it is. So I did.